Hi, I'm Joe James, and this video is going to cover breadth first search. So breadth first search is a graph traversal algorithm. It finds every vertex that is reachable from a source vertex, and it finds each vertex's distance from the source. And the distance is the number of edges it has to traverse to reach that vertex. It works on directed and undirected graphs. And it runs in big O of v plus e time, where v is the number of vertices in the graph and e is the number of edges. So let's apply breadth first search to this undirected graph. First, we're going to assign some attributes to each vertex that we're going to need to explore the graph. So we're going to have color, which is the discovery status, d for distance from the source, and pi, which is the predecessor vertex. So each vertex in the graph is going to have these three variables. And for our color, we're going to have gray to indicate undiscovered, black to indicate discovered vertices, and blue means visited and finished. And then our notation, the left value next to a vertex is going to indicate the distance from the source, and the right value indicates the predecessor vertex. So let's start traversing this graph. Starting at the source, we'll use A for the source. One additional thing we're going to need for the breadth first search is a queue. So we'll keep our queue over here. This is a first in, first out queue. So we start at vertex A. So our distance for A is 0 and the predecessor vertex is nil. There is no predecessor. We're going to look at all the outgoing edges from A that lead to a gray vertex, one that has not been discovered yet. And there are two, and we're going to take them in alphabetical order. So B and then E. So first we'll color B black to indicate that it's discovered. We'll update its distance and its predecessor vertex. The predecessor is obviously going to be A, and the distance is going to be 1 plus A's distance, which is 0 plus 1. So in this case it's 1 and A for the predecessor. And then we're going to add B to the queue. We're done with B, so now we're going to go to E. We're going to color E black. We're going to update E's distance from the source and predecessor vertex. And we're going to add E to the queue. So now we'll mark A as finished, blue. Next step, we're going to pop the top item off the queue, which is B, and we're going to look at its outgoing edges to gray vertices, which is C and F. So we'll take C first because it comes first alphabetically. We'll color C black. We'll update its distance from the source to 2, which is 1 plus B's distance, and update its predecessor vertex to B. We'll add C to the queue, and then we're going to jump to F. We color F black, we update its distance and predecessor vertex, and we add F to the queue. Now we're done with B because we've explored all of its outgoing edges. We're going to pop E off the queue, and we're going to visit E. So E only has one outgoing edge to an undiscovered vertex, which goes to I. We're going to paint I black. We're going to update its distance to the source to 2, and its predecessor vertex is E. And we add I to the queue. Now we're done with E, so we can paint E blue. We'll pop the next item off the queue, which is C. We go visit vertex C. C has nothing to do there. There are no outgoing edges to an undiscovered vertex, so we can just paint it blue and move on. So our next item is we pop F off the queue. We visit vertex F. It has one outgoing edge to vertex G, which we paint black. We update its distance and predecessor vertex to 3 and F, and we add G to the queue. Now we're done with F, so we can paint F blue. We pop the next item off the queue, which is I. We go to I. There's nothing to do there, so we can just simply paint I blue, and we're done with I. We pop our next item off the queue, which is G. We visit vertex G. We look at G's outgoing edges to gray vertices. We have J and K, so we'll take them in alphabetical order. We paint J black. We update J's distance to the source to 4 and its predecessor to G. We add J to the Q, and we do the same with K. Now we can paint G as blue because it's done. We pop J off the Q. There's nothing to do at J, so we can simply mark J as visited. We pop K off the Q, and K has one outgoing edge to vertex H. So we're going to paint H black. We update its predecessor and distance values to 5 and K, and we add H to the Q. Now we're done with K, so we can paint K blue. We visit H. H has one outgoing edge to vertex D, so we can paint D black, update its distance from the source to 6 and its predecessor vertex to H, and add D to the Q. Now we're done with H, so we'll paint H blue. We pop D off the Q and visit D. D has nothing there, so we can paint it blue. Now we're done. So that is how breadth first search works. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm Joe James. Thank you for watching.